Good afternoon, warriors of the internet. Hello and welcome to a 14th edition of the Heroes and Generals Devstream live from Copenhagen. I am Rito Gargamel, the support guy, and with me is Rito Redbjarne, the director. And we switched seats this week. It's an experiment we're doing. Today we are going to talk about hit detection and other fixes that are coming in the add-on that we are preparing.
The dreaded hit detection.
Yes, hit
Trying
detection.
To put out some fires on the forums.
And we have some, what else? Some community screenshots we didn't show last week. We're going to show them this week. And we have some... let's start with some stats. We asked, we were also curious because we heard players saying it's the other team that cheats. We put all the...
Isn't it always?
Yeah, it's always. Yeah. So we took the stats that I kept from the ban waves that we've been conducting. So we gave them to Rito Crazy Cat, and she pulled the stats. That's actually interesting that 50.41% of the cheaters we banned during the period since September. So from September to November, 50.41% of the cheaters we banned. The last faction they played before getting banned was US, and 49.59 were German. So it's really 50-50. It's split evenly down the middle. I'm not surprised. That's pretty much exactly what I experienced when I was investigating. So I guess in a way you can say yes, it's the other team that the other team that cheats,
and always is.
And if you change teams exactly, it's still the other team that cheats.
You probably don't notice your own teammates cheating. So
no,
that's kind of like the whole problem.
Let's
good shot! Good shot! Yeah, good shot!
Yeah. Can you do that again? We wanted to talk about the upcoming improvements to hit detection. I'm going to be reading from my sheet a lot because there's some very specific details. I didn't memorize the whole thing. There's been we were aware of quite a few issues that were kind of making it how can I say a little bit hard to know what to expect.
Yeah.
When shooting at especially when you had depending on your latency and depending on various factors.
I say that the latency part is a huge factor in all this, how to calculate it and how to, because there are obviously latency, and it's a matter of where to put the latency more. You can't get rid of it.
And latency, I don't know, for those who might not know, it's the delay between, basically the delay caused by how long it takes for information to be updated from the server to you and basically back and forth.
Yeah.
Right. So depending on if you have any kind of network problems, your internet service provider has connection problems, or you're just connecting from over long distances, it can be many things. So that's something you kind of always have to contend with.
Yeah, it's every. I think it's present in all electronic input devices, even in
sound. If you're plugging your guitar into a sound card.
Another good example is if any of you have been playing on the Nintendo Wii, you would notice that the sort of like the cursor when you sort of like point at the screen sort of like lags behind where you actually point, and that's the latency. Because the signal to and from the controller to the console has latency. Even on a console where it's not the internet, it still has latency. I think that's also something with the more precise you want to have. The curve you have to the sample rate has to be higher, which obviously have an impact on the latency as well. So latency is everywhere. I know the consoles even have latency from the controller input to when the machine registers what you press. Obviously, very small compared to
but
sending a signal over the internet. But you still have to remember that the signal has to go from your computer and being verified on the server, and then have to be sent back to all the other players that are online. So it's back and forth.
So it's I guess the challenge is to make everybody feel like they're participating in the same virtual events, and feel like everything is happening at the same time for everybody. So every computer has to be updated.
And obviously, to sort of like simulate that, we have something that we call like some prediction, where some very clever code is trying to figure out what might happen in the next frame. It might not happen, and that's where you see the glitches and the strange things are happening, is when something radically different happens. When like 99% of the time, it actually predicts what is going to happen next.
So I guess we can maybe start by showing some of the weird stuff that was happening because of that. I guess one of the... But there's different also, there's in the hit detection that's been improved, there's various aspects. So we've been talking about how much time it takes for events to be basically sampled, detected and confirmed by the server, and also there's also how we sync the animation, which is also, that's one of the main components of that. And there's basically where your character is at in the cycle. Like basically when he's running, he's moving his arms back and forth. On your machine, it looks like you're moving in a certain way. And maybe if you have latency issues, then the server thinks your pose is something, and then somebody's client who's late in getting the info from the server will show him that your pose is something. So, for example, if you go from crouching to standing, there used to be some problems with the basically keeping the animation in sync with what everybody was seeing. So I can show, I think, some of the videos that the QA guys took. Which one is it? This one. Okay, we if we can have this on. I want to open it with the other media player here. Just a second. Yes. So, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna make it loop so we can really see what's going on. So, in this case, it's one of the weird things that people have been observing. It's due to the character's pose not being in sync. If you see, it looks like a headshot, but there's no hit confirmation message, and that means that what the client is showing you, where the guy's head is supposed to be, is actually out of sync with what the server knows to be the actual game state. And I'll show you later exactly how these two states can be. We have a way to display these two different states, what the client sees and what the server sees. And in this case, that's one of the things that we have been working on fixing, is to make sure that the head is really where you think it is when you're aiming at it. Just want to make sure that... apparently you should move closer because you're out of the frame. You got the message.
That's the collision part, not updating in the same pace as the actual animation, right?
It's the collision, yeah. And we'll show more in detail later. There's also this one. I hate this thing. It's the first time I use this computer, I think. So all the application.
Is it the first time you use a computer?
Yeah, definitely.
What?
I'm not. No.
So the support is done via phone one?
Yeah. Hey, wait. What happened with this one? Okay. Oh, this is okay. This is full screen. Okay, fine. So this one, you see that it's the opposite effect. The collision is trailing behind the guy. So when you shoot behind the motorcycle, you're hitting the guy still. And so this is the kind of stuff that has been fixed, and it's going to be, these fixes are coming in the next major update. So, but in terms of numbers, we got now instant fire when you click. So that means before apparently there was up to 50 milliseconds delay before you actually sent the...
Yeah, there's a slight bullet. Delay from you actually push the button to the firing was conducted, and I think Andreas lowered that a lot. I think.
And that should apparently. I haven't really got the chance to really test it myself.
No, I think that actually
brand new, isn't it?
It's really new. Yeah, it's new. And that thing alone adds 50 milliseconds to everybody's. You could say it adds 50 milliseconds to everybody's ping, basically. So it's really nice that has been, I guess, moved somewhere else.
Yeah, but what difference this should make is that when we're doing firing at very close range, so I'm really moving, trying to track a guy who's really super close. If I try to, hit somebody, so that's going to be.
I must admit, I haven't tried this latest update. Just finished today actually.
Apparently,
but I hear that from the testers that it feels a lot more tight now.
They're going to have the play session right now, I think. Also in 2 minutes, so they're trying it right. All the devs are trying it right now. And you get better feedback from the server to the client in terms of where the bullets are. So what happens is there's correction backwards in time, which didn't happen before.
That might actually look a bit weird for people with low
high latency.
High latency. You might actually experience if you have tracers, you will see the shot correct in some direction. And that might look weird.
We have a picture for that.
It's more correct, I guess.
This one. So you have here what we see on this picture is that the shooter was rotating. It's a bit far away, but I guess so what we see is the projectile path. The red part is it used to be that the client would show you the red part and then the server would keep on calculating the blue part. And you see that from the client's perspective, he was turning around and basically firing one bullet at regular intervals. And the last one here, somehow because of latency, the server didn't pick that up as being fired here. He picked it up as being fired there because the guy was rotating super fast. So the client will see that he's been firing like that, but the server says no, this is what happened.
But this is a test case where we set an artificially
high latency. So this is a guy with basically he's.
I hope this is not going to happen.
This is supposed to no longer happen.
But also like a shot being corrected that much.
That's
completely
intense.
weird.
I think there's another one that Greenbow showed me, which was this one. Yeah, this is a little bit weird. Ignore the ones on the left. That's another thing he was doing on the same. Because the bullet paths are kind of they stay there persistent in this view. So what he's been doing is he started moving from right to left while trying to aim in that general direction. And as he was moving, he was sort of turning also clockwise. So he was firing somewhere up there in the air. And what's important here is that if you look at the red and blue lines are pretty much superimposed for the first 3 shots. But then the last one, because of latency, the server decided that the rifle was still in recoil mode. It was still in recoil stage. And the client didn't think so, but the server's right. So on the client, what happened was the bullet was fired that way, and for the server, the guy was really still pointing his rifle a little bit upward, so the bullet goes over there. And that also is something that should happen less and less. You should, or at least you should see the animation being corrected on your client if you have really high latency. Same thing with sometimes you would push the trigger once and it would go ta-ta, and it really that kind of double shot would actually be seen also by the server. The server would see 2 shots, and that's also a side effect of latency. And again, 2 shots with one being fired in recoil mode. So
actually, the little inserted picture that actually shows really well what some people experience it is, where you have the camera looking out of the eyes and the bullet going out of the rifle. So there's one you described a few issues ago, where you have to go in precise aim to be able to hit where you're aiming. Am I drifting?
I think that one is the blue line is where the bullet would be fired from in recoil mode.
Oh, okay.
But it kind of also shows that because somebody actually asked us on the forum, and I thought, should we talk about it again, because we went over it like it was 3 weeks.
It's something that people have a hard time understanding. So
maybe we could briefly go do a recap. I forget who asked the question, unfortunately, because I think yesterday we were like, let's not talk about it. Let's focus on the new stuff. But okay, a quick recap. I think it was 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, we showed a video that basically explained what the difference was between where the crosshairs are centered in hip fire and where the bullet actually hits if you're really at close range. And the thing is, the crosshairs are just drawn pretty much on the center of the screen.
Yeah.
And we can't move them around without it being completely weird. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The problem that you see a lot in like third-person shooters.
Yeah.
Third-person shooters have a tendency, the later ones of them have a tendency to move the camera close to the shoulder because that's closer to the gun, so the problem won't be so pronounced. But I can remember a few games that we made at IO that had that problem where you would aim somewhere and then the hitman would shoot at something else, and because the lines were different. And in obviously in third-person mode you cannot expect the shots to come out of the camera.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
Totally weird.
But I think in third person, at least you kind of you see your gun in front of you, so you think the bullet's coming from.
Yeah, but you still have a crosshair you aim with, so it's
true. But in Heroes and Generals, in third person mode, what happens is you. In third person, what am I saying? In hip fire mode, what happens is your crosshairs are just a suggestion. They're basically there as they're like complementary crosshairs. In real life, if you want to aim carefully, you have to take the rifle and put it next to your face. I mean, otherwise you're firing from the hip. It's a guess. It's you get as much precision when you're at the urinal. I mean,
it's only Rambo who can fire very precise from the hip.
Yeah,
Rambo can do it. Other people can't.
So that's the main thing is that if you're firing in hip fire, the where your eyes are looking and where your rifle is pointing will intersect at some point on the horizon. But that's not guaranteed to be where the bullet will be if you're firing at close range, because you might have an obstacle that's basically lower than where your line of sight is. Yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. But back to the hit detection, we also have better resolution in the input sampling. So that means also more. Help me out here. It's like basically it's following what you do with your mouse more closely.
Yeah, it's something that I think there's still to be decided if this. Affects the frame rate too much. I think it's just a matter of sampling the mouse off more often, I guess, and that obviously.
So there might be a cost in terms of performance.
Yeah, but I don't think it wasn't sure it was much. So it's probably a good trade-off.
Okay, so it's yet to be observed if there's any loss of performance. But the idea is that we used to be precise up to 8 milliseconds. That was the maximum precision, the maximum theoretical precision of the measurements of what you do with your mouse. Now it's precise up to 0.2 milliseconds, but that's then again the theoretical maximum precision. So that means 256 samplings per 50 millisecond tick. So every 20th of a second. For every cycle, 50 milliseconds is a 20th of a second, right? So for every period like that, we make a maximum of 256 samplings of your mouse motion. So that's a lot, and this would also allow for better reflex shots, reactions. So that's also probably going to be felt more than seen, but so it's kind of, I'm not going to really show a video that shows that. Also, we have moved the blood spatter to basically server side.
So now you only hear the sound that will, you take it as the guy getting getting scared. Oh, what the fuck! Somebody shooting at me. But the blood spatter will come when we have a server side confirmation. So it might actually be, it can be a lot delayed for the actual shot. That's just another weirdness of latency. So blood spatter might actually appear on laggy machines way after the shot had actually hit.
Apparently, Andreas is still debating whether to, because it's a question of it's psychological. What feels more weird, that the blood spatter appears where the guy was when you hit him, or that it appears on the guy but late? So it's either it's a delay in space or a delay in time.
It's just weird.
We have a lot of space-time paradoxes.
We can move the guy back to where he was, put on the button, and then forward again. This is back in time here.
So, but there will be whatever it is. It should at least only appear when the guy's hit.
We can say it's sort of like an unsolvable problem. Yeah. So it's just a matter of where you want the weirdness.
So the next improvement would be that we have, actually it's not something visible, but we have improved tools for finding the discrepancies between that's what I was describing earlier, the client predicted character collision and the server character collision. So the basically where the hitboxes will be, and that we can I can show you a little bit on. We have this. Test build of the game that I'm going to spawn a couple of bots and have them running around and show you a little bit what it looks like when we're testing the collision. It's going to look a little bit strange because the way we display it to be able to see it correctly, to separate the client prediction and the server placement of the hitboxes, we put a delay in the animation, so you'll see what is rendered, so the character model with all the shading and all that, and then there's trailing behind it, there's the client collision and then the server collision. So there's like 3 copies of the guy running around. So it will look weird. That's again not what it is really on the live server. What was I trying to do here? It's player snap 1. So then you should start. Yeah, there you go. So when I'm looking at myself, it's really weird. Then I add some bots, maybe. So yeah. So my teammates here, you can see them. So the blue guy is the server collision, and the red guy is the client collision. And I think in this view you still see a little bit of a desync when they're crouching. The animation is not really entirely in sync, but generally speaking, that's how we measure that. You know, if you aim at the red guy, which is what you see on your client, we try to match it up as much as possible with the blue guy, and basically the blue guy is what counts, and the red guy is the prediction that your client is giving you of what's going on the server. Try and follow this guy a little bit until there you go. So you see him running. So you see that sometimes the what the client predicts in terms of where the arms and the legs are is a little bit off, but at least it kind of matches. And if somebody's running in a straight line and at a constant speed, then you should be able to always trust what the client is showing you. If there's always going to be a certain some uncertainty when you're at close range, and there's some sudden changes. Like for example, the guy goes like, "Oh, I'm running this way. No, I'm running that way." Yeah. Then that kind of thing cannot be predicted by your client, and you need to get the server's update. These bots are really stupid.
Actually, to answer some guy commented on the forum on the chat that it looks like some noobs playing, and I can tell you these are bots playing. So they are definitely noobs, but they're really good at hitting.
So, but this is they
cheat.
So once again, this is something, and of course to test it, we can add some. What was it again? Net. Was a simulate latency delay. If I add like 0.1, that's 0.1 second in each direction, so it's 200 milliseconds total latency. And I think if I'm just gonna go and move around and free cam. So that simulates basically that the collie is trailing way behind. And again, there's in this view there's always a default delay. So if even what you saw before, the collie was trailing behind a little bit, that's not the way it is on the game servers. So on the game servers, basically the blue guy matches the guy that's rendered. It's the red guy. I'm confused.
I don't know which one is which, but yeah, the
time and space. The mysteries of time.
The graphics obviously matches one of them is matched by the real graphics.
But yeah, it's our tool to measure the discrepancies between the server prediction, the client prediction, and the server. I guess that about covers it. I'm just I think we went over most of the improvements, unless I forgot something.
No, I think you sort of covered most of that stuff.
All right.
I can't think of anything though.
I guess we can move on to some forum questions. This week we only have
only a few questions.
We have one from Halfbyte who's asking: will you be asking specific? Will you be adding specific dock maps?
Dock as in
fighting for the harbor.
The harbor maps.
The shipyard.
Shipyard. Oh yeah.
Submarines.
That would be nice. Looking for the submarine. Obviously, that would make sense because we have a lot of battlefields that are at the coastline. So yeah, we have actually been discussing like some sort of like a French fishing type harbor map, but not in the foreseeable future though. But it's something that would make sense, obviously, to have as a theme for a map.
I want one from Max Manus. Or the Oslo harbor. That would be awesome. Will there be the same guy? Halfblight is asking also. Will there be other light armor vehicles that can be used by infantry?
Light armor vehicles.
I guess like the half track and all that.
Half track. Yeah, I've seen one of the vehicle guys working on something that's supposed to be looking like. Yeah. We are discussing more vehicles for the infantry. Obviously, we actually also discussed at one point it would be cool to have assault guns in the game.
As in cannons?
No. Well, it's sort of like it's a bit of an what do you call it? It's a tank, obviously, but it fires. It has a different cannon than a normal tank. Normal tanks are built for destroying other tanks. Assault guns are more. It's a howitzer. It's a moving field artillery type thing, but it plays a support role for the infantry more than killing other tanks. So we have discussed how to add that as something that you could have with the infantry, the possibility of actually having tanks or like assault guns to support the infantry. An interesting thing about this stuff is actually the German army during the Second World War. The tankers who were using the assault guns weren't allowed to use the black Panzer uniforms. They had some grey infantry style uniforms instead because they were not considered to be true tankers. So yes, that's definitely something that we're looking into the possibility, but we haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. But it'll be.
But you've been rediscussing it lately? Or?
No, we're obviously constantly discussing how to put more of the not so obvious types of vehicles and weaponry in the game. Also, like mortars is something that is regularly discussed, and how can we do that? Artillery, obviously, something that we would really like to put in. And at some point, somebody is then so like we come up with the idea. Yes, this is the way it should be working in the game, and then we more start to go into fleshing out how exactly to do it. But
I think you mentioned something about the number of players it would take, for example, for because in a game you can only have so many players in the same battlefield without affecting performance and all that, right?
Yeah.
And so if you have one guy who's always kind of solicited for, he has to fill up that spot in that unit, and then the other guy's flying his plane. Like, so who's playing the rest of the game, right? Was it during one of the streams? I think you mentioned that some people said no. It should take 4 or 5 people to drive a tank around.
Yeah, some have been mentioned, but I think that's just crazy. Obviously, it would be so.
If you're guy number 5 in the tank, you're the guy who's reading Bible quotes and
the radio operator would be
radio operator.
Hello. Oh, well, it makes sense if you look at it as from like a simulation perspective, and I think it sounds nice, but I bet you in reality it sucks to play a game like that. It's way too simulation style for our taste. We obviously would like the game to have a good balance of realism and fun. So and in this case, I think the fun part is just misses. The same thing as it doesn't. It shouldn't take you half an hour to get your plane on the wings. You should all the buttons you normally would switch on and to ready the plane. That's just not fun to play a game like that. So but the assault guns is something that we actually have discussed. I know it's not an armored vehicle. I think he's probably thinking of some more of there's various types of half tracks and other. Vehicles that we could put in,
but it's not like you haven't considered it.
No. Obviously, not. Obviously, we and also it has actually on the forum been several suggestions of really weird vehicles and weapons and stuff, and we're very interested in seeing those, because I think that's something that we would like to. That sets our game a little bit apart from the rest, is that we actually have the ability to put in, you'd say, the combined arms. You're both the infantry and the tanks and the planes and everything in one game, rather than being a specific game where you only can have the infantry, for example, only the planes, only the tanks. So that's interesting.
Yep. Next question would be.
Well, that's a long answer.
I was like,
simple. Do we get more vehicles? Yes or no?
That's an interesting. Isn't that one? Comrade MacGyver is like MacGyverski. I think it's funny.
MacGyverski.
Comrade MacGyver.
Oh, yeah.
Will there be an icon on the scoreboard showing which class your teammates are playing? Which army branch, you would say? We could put it in.
I'll bring it onto the scoreboard guys. If it's on, obviously it's of interest for some to know if
I
it's
guess
a tank or a pilot.
The rank insignia is a little bit different depending on your army branch anyway. So I guess eventually.
Yeah, I just don't think that is displayed in the action game.
There was a bug at some point when the insignia sometimes was not even the rank that you really have. So
that's fixed, but I think we have like a brand. We have army brand specific ranks insignia on the front end. I just don't think it's actually loaded in the action game, because
I was wondering if it's
quite a lot of graphics goes into that.
Yeah. The next question would be Alfar100 saying, is there any plan to make a pre-weapon, a starter weapon as a pre-weapon before the M1 Garand and the Gewehr 43?
So basically you want a shitty weapon for the new players, or what? Or a great weapon for the new players, or what is it? What is the question?
I don't know.
No. We actually we had this discussion a long time ago, before we added the Gewehr 43. And the Springfield rifle, we had in the early days, the game had only the Garand and the Kar 98. And obviously those two weapons are very different, so we had to add a semi-auto for the Germans and a bolt action for the Americans. And we chose to have the new players have the semi-auto because it's an easier rifle to shoot. It's just more fun, and so that's actually. There's a lot of suggestions that we should do the opposite. Start out with the bolt action and then go towards the gewehr, because it's more like historically accurate and it's sort of like a step up in functionality. But we just thought that we'd reverse it a bit to make it just basically more fun for new players, so that they don't start out with just a spoon or something.
Because it's but I mean the bolt action is really powerful. But I mean
the bolt action is really powerful. But you have
to know how to aim right away.
Exactly, and you have to you have to learn how to use it, and that's might just be too off-putting for a lot of players. And obviously the game is more fun with a lot of players. So we switch things around a little bit at sometimes. I don't think I think it's better this way actually. So to the point, adding a weak weapon for all new players might not be the best idea for us.
Next question. African Dave is asking: will there one day be fixed gun emplacements on the map, machine gun nests?
It's something that actually comes up quite a lot. It's something that we have to do at the same time that we do the long-awaited mount machine gun. For machine guns, it's sort of like plays into the same sort of like mechanics on you have to, the aim has to be different and stuff. So hopefully when we start working seriously on the deploy the bipods for the machine guns, we will take a look at the mounting machine guns as well. It'd be cool.
Yep.
We also actually talked quite a lot about the mounted machine guns in the bunkers. That right now the bunkers are kind of that's not the place you want to be because people know where it is, and good tankers can actually shoot high explosive through the slits and kill you. So it's kind of like telling everybody where you are. But we have been talking about adding bots to that instead, so it's just something that just spawns a bot that will fire out of the bunker, and then obviously hitting something, but posing a minor threat, but still a threat that you have to clear in order to pass.
But then again, the bots that we've just
it would just be like a stationary bot. So I would assume that it would be the same as in Team Fortress, where you deploy the machine gun for the engineers.
Okay, so they don't run away.
No, they should
like
just
the bravest bots.
they should be like the most heroic bots ever.
So
cannon fodder.
I wouldn't mind. That would be fun. Is it being considered, asks properly named, is it considered to increase the rank required to become a pilot or a tanker?
Yes, considered is definitely the right word. It's fairly easy to become a tanker now, and it's very easy to become a pilot. We have considered moving him up a rank step 1 or 2. Once we get to the point where we can add a lot more planes and do the whole plane thingy makeover, we'll probably move the pilot a lot more up in the ranks but right now I think there's simply just too little plane stuff on the pilot to justify that we move it way up in the chain,
as in the rank. It's not something that you want to kind of work hard towards and then go like, oh, okay, so I've got this, and so then that's true. What's the next question? Actually, sorry. T-Dog 89 is asking: will the Panther tank ever be asked as a Panther?
I have been promised that, so I guess it will be in at some point. It's definitely my favorite tank.
Somebody promised it to you.
Yes.
Okay. That's
and
for Christmas.
I like an elephant. I never forget.
So the next question would be from Ebrim or Ibrim, will you? How will more than 2 factions work? Is it each faction for itself, or for example, Russia and the US versus Germany?
I think we actually talked a bit about this before, didn't we? But I think it's worth mentioning a few more times as well. The way we will handle multiple factions is by having all factions fight each other. Basically, 3 factions, 4 factions, 5 factions, they will all be fighting each other in one big war. And the way it would be handled that's why we introduced the multiple capitals in the campaign game. That's in order to have a system where we don't have any losers. You can only have a winner. Once one of the factions reaches a certain amount of capitals, he will win and knock the others out of the war. And also it poses a very interesting mechanic where the 2 underdogs might team up on one of the larger factions trying to win, but they would know that they would have to fight each other at some point later in the game.
Would they make it official? Like, would they actually enter a truce and?
We have been discussing that. It will not be a feature in the beginning, but
so there could be.
I kind of like the idea that it's something that the players just agree on, because that's kind of like that's
closer to history,
and that's also closer to reality, where players really have to tell everybody on their team that hey, don't attack the other guys, and some idiot might just break the truce by and that's so like that's how shit happens in the real world. So I kind of like that, but we might have somewhere to flag it to the other players or something, so they don't have to write private messages to everybody to do that.
This here. We have to show this. They actually had to hand out, like kind of like, don't shoot this guy.
Yeah, but that's true, because obviously if you're in a war, basically especially some of the bigger battles in World War II, you would just shoot at anything that moved. Had like tons and tons of blue on blue incidents. So it's,
blue on blue. No, it's true. It's probably.
But I think it'll be interesting in the beginning to see if it's actually possible, and then we are thinking a lot more that just providing the players with the communication means of so they can communicate better with each other, rather than having your gun will not kill this guy and
so yeah.
Because usually I think one of the things that happens is that like parts of an army just breaks out and starts fucking with the truce, and just go, hey, we no, they're still enemies, and then they just go at it. So it's interesting.
What about the next question would be, are there Rotten Ribs Rotten Ribs is asking, are there any plans to add deployable buildings, bunkers, structures during the action game matches? Not plans, apparently.
Not plans, no. Not in the plan. We had something running a long time ago where you could actually place them in the 3D interface, but it's one of those things that might cause a lot of problems. So it probably would be more like we chose certain areas where you can have gun emplacements and stuff, and then someone can switch them on and off or something like that. Mm-hmm. That'd be easier.
So you have to kind of like you buy them before the battle starts.
Yeah, but also the question is who's going to pay for that?
Yeah. So we yet to figure that out. A question from Chasp: are there any plans to add more types of ammunition for tanks?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Next question. Would be
actually, right now we added some of the ammunition for the smaller tanks in order to make them powerful enough to fight sort of like the tanks that are just better, slightly better than them. So adding obviously better ammunition to the King Tiger might be overdoing it, but we are definitely going to add some more ammunition.
Next question would be from Pilot Casper. Can more maps be expected which also match the campaign locations. So it's talking about referring to the large city maps. That question comes back a
lot. City maps is coming in at some point. We just need to, right now we are busy doing other stuff, so that's not in the pipeline right now, but it's something that we are working on a system for having city maps. And you could say if you really want to know where you're fighting, if you're fighting in Paris, for example, people would expect to see the Eiffel Tower. We would probably do something where the maps would be the same. The architecture and stuff would obviously sort of like reflect roughly the area where you would fight, and then we'll do something with the backdrops instead to indicate what city it is you're fighting for.
And that's our last forum question. Was, how do you pronounce that? Egiopony? Egiopony. Will there be a way in the...
why haven't any... they probably already have started doing that. You know, where Barty calls up Mo at the tavern and have him shout out like the usual the Simpsons phone prank. I'm amazed that nobody have done that yet.
You mean pun names? No, there's tons of those. Yeah. Will there be a way in the FPS to see the warframe value of the resources you've lost and the resources you've destroyed from the enemy? He says basically, I want to be able to pat myself on the back whenever I destroy more with less.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit about that. So like the cost of the battle, or so you can have maybe on the battle report something you could show that. Oh, you won, but you lost more than the guys you won over, or something like that. So you have it could play nicely into this underdog heroic type thing.
So maybe, but
maybe we have some updates for the battle report in that we have to do. So we might consider that.
I have something I forgot to show. I was kind of looking for the next thing. This bug also has been fixed for the. I hate this thing. Go away. This. See that? It's This is actually what our replay tool looks like. So replay from a game here where Greenbow and Westwick were right next to this building here. So when your tank is next to certain structures, the hit detection is all confused, and so I've been getting tickets about that. People saying this guy he's got an invulnerable tank. Yeah, that was the buildings doing it. It's kind of
Panzerbildungs.
Yeah. So this has been now fixed for the next build. What it's going to look like instead is there's another.
We need to fix
that.
I
need to fix the standard application, the default application here. There. Do this forever. There. So
media player burn in hell.
I don't know. I think it.
Oh, it came back to haunt you now.
What is it doing? Oh yeah, there you go. So this one. Wait, let's do it again. So it actually took one hit, and then this is. There is no hit notification for this, but okay. So I'm going to go back to the. Got too many computer screens. So you have this going on. You have bombs hurting the armor with splash damage, and you see the smoke coming out. So it was hit, and you will get, I think, maybe messages if you get XP from it, but you will not get a message. Basically, the armor penetration messages will not show up, because that's just not the way. The hit messages for tanks they work for if your projectile goes through the. But if you have a direct hit, if you drop your bomb directly on the tank, you get the hit message.
We actually we should up the priority of creating a few more bombs. Actually, it would be nice to have some armor penetrating bombs and some colored shrapnel style bombs to play around with.
So, but yeah, so that's also next update. We should see that the the so-called invulnerable tanks no longer happen. I think before we take some questions from the chat, I wanted to show the these community submitted screenshots. So yeah, that's I guess it's an ongoing thing. More people on Jeeps. Can I? No, I can't do that. This thing. Yeah, and the same with half tracks. How many are there in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just too many. That's amazing. This guy. That's. Oh, we have to attribute these. So sorry. Let's go back. So this is from 3 Vial, US Taxi. This one is whoa. I'm not sure I'm supposed to pronounce that. Tak Onivak, also. This is from USMC. Yeah, so it's called Flipped Over the Handlebars. Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
That hurts. This one is from Big King, called, it's titled Stunt Parking.
Nice parking.
It's actually, yeah, the Jeep is not moving on this picture. And this one, Stealth Parking. From Renazard.
What?
I'm still puzzled as to exactly how you make the Jeep just hang there, but yeah, that happened. And here's a bunch of Germans with iPads. It's from Chi. Is this the way to the bar? Is the title.
So the Wehrmacht is app users, apparently.
Operation Oktoberfest.
Apfel.
So, yeah, chat questions.
Should we take some questions
from
some
questions from the chat? Yeah. And let's go for. I'm sure there's somebody at some point already asked one. Oh, can we get XP from? That's from Enclaw. Can we?
Oh, XP was repairing
for repairing with the wrench. Would we get some XP for that?
You don't do that right now, right? Yes, yeah. That would. I'll look into that.
Probably get the mechanic ribbon.
No, but also you could just give you just rank ribbon. Nah, that would probably just be exploited by somebody who just damaged the tank and then just shoot at it, repair it, shoot at it at the corner of the map. I don't want to see that.
Oh, and I think the questions just exploded here. What are your thoughts on having an in-game communication menu like some other FPS games, like the Comrose? You know, when you use the. Oh no, this is not the Comrose. He's saying like Battlefield 1942 that used the F1 through F12 keys for team communication.
I think that's cool. I think we have been discussing that Comrose at some point before, and I think we should have a talk about that at some point internally if we want to do something like that.
Let's see. Oh, there's one guy saying someone took my name, Spuck5. In one of the recent streams, someone talked about someone asked for a new way of reloading tanks. I think they wanted to queue up, saying like, my next shot I want this type of ammo, the shot after that I want this. He says, since it would be difficult with the GUI, could it be made so that the tanks can change ammo type mid-reload? So you're loading one and then you say like, next one I want this. You're already committed to what you loaded, but you press the key and you're already you've selected the next type for the next one.
So yeah, maybe you should add the more it's loaded, the longer time it takes to pull the shell out of the cannon again.
Okay, so you're saying you can only have one type at a time, not what's loaded and then the next one.
Yeah, but you could easily just switch them, but it's more like instead of just instantly switching to a new ammunition, you could take the time delay of actually pulling ammunition out again, but which would mean that if you just started you say, oh no, I wanted some other ammunition, then it would take a short time to switch, rather than if it's already loaded, obviously it'll take a long time.
Easy Michael is saying, will there be intel objectives on both training and campaign maps? And then it's not even a question. He's telling us what to do. It will act as a bonus point, like capturing objectives. But you talked about that, didn't you? That you could eventually have a kind of secondary thing to do for other.
We discussed a few variants of that. Obviously, the good old capture the flag, where you run to the we call it stealing the documents style game, where you capture a document, and if you bring it home, we show something on the campaign map, like lift the fog of war in some areas. That would be nice. But we also talked on a variant where it could be a skill that recons have, where if they can manage to get to the enemy's access points, steal some documents, and bring them home to one of their own access points, then we could show all the enemies on the map for a brief moment, for example, something so the recons have a different mission on in the battle than the normal guys. That's definitely something that we are talking about. I think it gives the recon a slightly different role.
Another question from actually we have a question from Old Man Smithers, the pilot we had flying upside down last time. He's asking, do you have any plans for air-only maps? For example, he thinks it would be cool to have the battle over the English Channel with nothing but water.
We have something that we have been talking about for a long time now, but it's been put into the basket of future aircraft update, future cool aircraft update. It is something we call the air lobby.
The air lobby. So it's a few devs that.
It's basically what it is. It's a different mission lobby that you enter when you're a pilot, where you fly around. And so you have your 3D map, which is our deploy menu right now. It's a different type of deploy menu where you fly around with your plane, and it's actually just engaged in air battles until a mission that requires planes is spawned somewhere on the campaign map, and you would be able to join that mission from that air lobby. So you'll actually you'll fly around and having your battle with other planes until you choose to exit and enter a more like grounded mission where you fly down and join the mission.
You fly into the flashing cloud that says exit.
Exit here to mission. I think that could be
sweet,
really interesting to do.
Lots of questions going on. I think we too late. We have to wrap it up.
Let's take the last question.
Last question.
We have plenty of time. We can go on for hours. But people have to go home as well. And we have to drink beer.
There's a question here from Schütze Eugen. Yeah, Schütze Eugen. I don't know how you say Eugen in German.
I would say Eugen.
Eugen, yeah.
No, I'm just guessing here.
Yeah, I think it's Eugen. I have a short question. Would high explosive rounds be able to damage light armor vehicles or light tanks someday?
That depends. Again, the heavy, high explosive shrapnel style grenades might, just because they actually were filled with like steel balls. But it's kind of like a very special question. Usually, right now, we just differentiate between those two armor types, and one is explosive, and obviously it doesn't penetrate armor. But that we should do that talk when we at some future Twitch session try and explain some more about the actual armor penetration model and what we do with that. So short answer is no. But we are looking at doing a more varied array of ammunition. Actually, I can say I got a private message this today from one player, and who was asking a little bit about something I said on the last Twitch session about the tracer rounds and all that stuff, which is he told me it was wrong, and I was actually. I have to agree with him that that was regarding the Mauser ammunition for the Germans, that the basic ammunition you would be issuing to soldiers was not tracer ammunition, but you would issue it to that's kind of the SS Schwer, what is it called? Yeah, whatever. The standard ammunition was not a tracer. That was something you would issue to the machine gunners. But obviously, you would use the tracers for marking out targets and stuff like that as well as an infantryman. The reason that we have chosen to that's my point here. The reason that we have chosen to have the tracers on all the basic ammunition is simply because it's a way for new players to learn the weapons, that they can see where the shot actually lands. We are working on a new system or not a new system, but it's an updated system on the ammunition, and we will be looking into having different types of ammunition that have tracers and some that doesn't have tracers and more subdued tracers. Obviously, the snipers would like to have no tracers, obviously. Yeah. So that is something we're looking into, but we will keep the tracers for the basic ammunition simply because of new players have to have some sort of a guide.
Makes sense. We forgot to mention that if we can have this on full screen before we leave, this Battle Vision screenshot contest is you can go to, I don't know if you can see the address on the bar here. It's on Steam community and in the forums. Well, I guess don't try to copy the address. It's just if you look for the Battle Vision contest, just search the topic, and this is going on this month until the 17th of December, and basically the people who come up with the best screenshots with the theme is bicycles. Top 3 screenshots will earn 2,000 gold each. So that's a contest organized by one of our players, Westwick, and it's going on Steam. I also wanted to mention that we have now a new supporter. He's going to be called Rito Hades. And so you might have, if you contact support, you might have this name pop up. So new guy probably will help also answering you faster when you try to contact us. So this being said, if you just came in today, we talked a lot about hit detection and basically the hitboxes, the collision for characters. That we improved in the coming update, and we talked about a lot also basically the effects of ammo and armor, and what else did we talk about? Some stats. So if you want to see the today's episode in its entirety, you can go to our Twitch. I'm going to say Steam, but it's Twitch, to our Twitch page, and we will put it on YouTube eventually in a few hours or days. This being said, have a nice weekend.
Yeah, have a nice weekend.
And see you next week.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
And playing.
And yes.
Yeah.